So we've got 5 fights on the main card. So we're starting off with Eryk Anders against Yong Park, the Iron Turtle. It's a great nickname, that is.
So I think this could be a bit of a banger as well, like maybe potentially fight of the night.
Yeah.
If it doesn't finish too early. Because I can see, because both of them like to swing, but I think Eryk Anders is a little bit more calculated with his power.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Jung-Sung Park, his last fight against Gregory Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's a little bit wild.
Just both swinging, and it was like whoever lands first, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
he did show some improvements with his ground game though. Against was it John Phillips?
Right, yeah.
I think against Barrow and John Phillips, we saw some grappling from him, but definitely against John Phillips, I was surprised how much grappling he used. I think he was working a lot on his judo, and he was just holding top position and working ground and pound. Like, I could see him doing that here. I think it's going to be difficult to get Eryk Anders down initially because I think he's a big physical athlete. And Anders is one of those guys that drifts between 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
Which I always find kind of weird because when he's at light heavyweight, he looks like a light heavyweight. But then when he comes down to middleweight, I'm like, how is he making this weight class?
It's like just this part goes.
Yeah.
The middle section. Because he doesn't check, like he's got a massive frame. It's just his stomach goes down.
Just shrinks in a little bit.
But yeah, I watching Eryk Anders against who was it against?
He's had a couple against Darren Stewart recently, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He lost to Muniz in his last one by armbar, didn't he?
Yeah, like the Mershot
super
fight.
Slick.
Well.
Yeah.
Like he was good in the wrestling exchanges. Like his takedown defense was really good. So I feel like if he can avoid that from Jung as well and keep it on the feet, I think he might be able to, like win those striking exchanges.
Yeah. I think, I mean, Park's a lot of fun to watch, but he is hittable and he is a little bit reckless. And I think Eryk Anders, he's a much more physical athlete than Jun-Yong Park, which means, regardless of where he takes the fight, I think he's going to have the physical advantage, grappling or striking. And if Park decides he wants to grapple, he's going to have to invest a lot of time and energy and be consistent and not get discouraged if he doesn't get the first takedown. Because, I do think, I underestimate Park. I always do, because he's a very unassuming guy. He makes fun of his own voice in his post-fight interviews and stuff. He's a really interesting dude. But I don't know whether if he has a rough first round, I don't know whether he starts to kind of come unraveled a little bit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you're going to beat Eryk Anders, you need to be confident that you're going to get a takedown regardless of how many you fail to begin with. And I don't know whether we're going to see that from Jun-Yong Park. I could see him trying a couple of takedowns and hitting this like wall of muscle and being like, oh no, now I've got to stand and trade with him. And then the unraveling goes into like a reckless, well, let's just hope I land first.
Yeah. I feel like that's what happened in the Gregory Rodriguez fight as well. It's like he found out that he could no way beat him on the ground. So he just resorted to swinging, seeing if he lands.
Yeah. I could definitely see that the fight playing out the same way. Yeah. Did I go through stats?
No.
So 14-6 with 1 no contest for Eryk Anders, 13-5 for Jun-Yong Park, 6-1, so a decent height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage for Eryk Anders as well. And this is the weight class for him at 185. If you can make it, do. Relatively even as far as striking accuracy and defense goes, but the striking output of Jun-Yong Park is higher. But then that's probably down to that John Phillips fight where he took him down and was able to throw a lot of shots on the ground. 2.6 is average takedowns for Jun-Yong Park compared to 1.4 for Eryk Anders. But Anders has a 74% takedown defense compared to Park, who's 47. Yeah. I think this is a win for Anders, to be honest, but I can't underestimate Park. I question his enthusiasm if he starts losing the fight.
Yeah.
I don't know, like you said against Rodriguez, when he realised he wasn't going to be able to beat him on the floor, it was like caution to the wind and let's just hope something lands.
Yeah, I like Jung-Sung Park's like hunger as well, like because he was, when we were at Fight Island, I think he was one of the guys to call out Hamzat as well, like early stages of Hamzat.
Yeah.
And yeah, he wanted to fight him. And I don't know how that'd go now, obviously, but
I don't think you call him out now.
no, true. But yeah, I got Eryk in this one.
Yeah.
I think if he can negate that takedown, I think he's just got the power and the striking ability to probably get the finish, maybe.
Yeah. I wonder if he stayed consistently in one weight class and made it his focus, whether he'd start to get some momentum. So I think moving up and down, it always keeps the fans kind of confused as to what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where do you belong?